Delhi Fair Autumn 2023. We welcome amongst us Shri Ravi Pasiji. He is the past chairman of EPCH, and we also have our panelist Shri Manish Ahluwalia ji, our expert panel. And we also have with us Mr. Naresh Bothra, president of this fair. Welcome. So let me just briefly introduce our expert, and we'll be starting with the seminar right on. Leveraging international multimodal transportation is a pivotal strategy in today's globalized marketplace, offering businesses the measures to optimize their supply chain operations. It can harmonize various modes of transportation such as air, sea, rail, road to create a seamless and efficient network that transcends geographical boundaries. And elaborating on this topic is Mr. Manish Ahluwalia, our expert panel. He's a senior level executive with more than 30 years experience in global supply chain, international shipping and integrated logistics solution. Mr. Ahluwalia has worked in leadership strategic roles while working with Indian and international leaders. He has rich experience in handling diverse teams of operations, customer service, documentation, business development, HR, IT, digitization, safety and security compliances and legal ownership, while working for large PSUs and Navratna companies and MNCs and Indian conglomerates. He has expertise in global shipping companies, international freight forwarding, multimodal transport operators, domestic cargo terminals and distribution, last mile connectivity, and so on. So before I request him to begin his talk, we would like to welcome him amongst us. I request Shri Ravi Pasiji to kindly present a bouquet to him. And Mr. Bothra to join Raviji in welcoming our expert panel today. Thank you so much, and let me remind you to please switch off your mobile phones right now. You can also put them on silent or vibration modes. Thank you so much. It's over to Mr. Manish Ahluwalia, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody had their lunch and it is not too drowsy for all of you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right there, and I am having a presentation. I'm going to run it for all of you. So today's topic is I'm very passionate about this topic because that's what I have done for 30 years. As the introduction already has been given about me, I have worked in various shipping companies. To name a few of them was P&O Nedroit, which was an Anglo-Dutch shipping company, and of course acquired by Maersk Line. So I had a bit of experience working for Maersk Line, and I had been a little bit engaged with the infrastructure companies also, like Adani Group, so who has come up with the ports in India, the leading ports, and the dry ports, inland container depots, CFSs, multimodal logistic parks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consolidate my experience through this presentation and try, presenting you what is the picture of logistics today and how it can help your supply chain. So I have a presentation, but I have been told to be really precise. I think I have been given 1 hour time, right? So I have to really run through this, and I don't mind having questions from you in between, although I would request you if you can park the question at the end of the session, So we have a question answer session at the right end of the session, right? So the topic is leveraging international multimodal transportation to optimize your global supply chain. So multimodal transportation, as you would be aware of, actually consists of something which is more than one transport. which is like either it could be rail, road or ocean freight, ocean transportation. So it is something which has to do with more than one transportation. We call in our industry as a multimodal transportation. So I'm going to run through this, and I would like to be very precise to the topic that how it is going to be impacting your supply chain, particularly operation and the commercial part of it. In between, if I'm going too fast, or if there is any kind of a personal question in the sense, something which is disturbing your supply chain, your commodities, I think I would love to have the questions raised there and then. Before starting it, I would like to congratulate EPCG, and I really request everybody to give a big round of applause for today's, we have brought the whole handicraft world together today, and I think it's a very massive, big show of international standards, so I'm really glad to be a part of it. So the flow of my presentation is going to be as under. I am going to be covering general awareness of EXIM trade, a real brief about what we all have been doing, how handicraft has actually, what kind of a share you have in the international market, or the total India throughput of EXIM business. See, if you want to understand the multimodal transportation, you really want, first of all, you must understand who are the stakeholders, particularly your vendors. There are a huge list of vendors, you don't even realize it. Either you are dealing with them directly or indirectly. So I'm going to run through all the stakeholders you should be knowing. I'm very sure you would have been knowing it, by now. But then, I really want to re-emphasize it, So we would like to run through each stakeholder who is impacting your business in EXIM. See, we are going to discuss about the roles and direct and indirect impact to all your exports. The new trends and the practices I'm going to cover in this session very briefly. Very important, it's a buzzword, digitization. So, of course, our industry is not unaffected. So digitization is pretty much important, and it has already started playing its role, in logistics. So you should be well aware of, if not in detail, at least the bit of it which is going to kind of maybe reduce your cost or make your logistics little seamless, Of course, ocean freight management is very huge. It's a very big topic. It really needs at least one day. So I'm going to summarize it so that it actually, I'm trying to convey something which is more needed by you. I think this is a game changer. I'm sorry I have picked up a speed already. So dedicated freight corridor is something which is very, very new. It is the biggest mega project in logistics. It is going to be a game changer for logistics, and it will definitely impact your business operationally and commercially both. So I really want to spend some time on dedicated freight corridor. The policy is already there. In 2022, logistic policy already came up, and it is freezed now by the government, so by the current government. So we would like to really talk a little bit about it. If you have any questions, I would love to answer it. Of course, very, very important, logistic policy is supported by Prime Minister or Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti Master Plan. We are going to discuss that. ULIP is not like, unit linked plan for your investment. It is a unified logistics interface platform. So it is already up and running, and I'm sure most of you might not be aware of it. I'm going to touch upon that. I would like to take a live example. Few of them, be ready with your shipment container number. We would like to see whether it is working and what kind of a status it is showing, what kind of a visibility this particular platform can give to your shipment. So we are going to talk about that also. Of course, LDB is also very important. That's called Logistic Data Bank. It is already prepared by the government. They have integrated 3 ministries together. All the software which is running by these ministries have been clubbed into one platform which is available for you. So we are going to talk about, I am going to show you one slide which will show you what has been the engineering behind it. Of course, question and answer, but I love to have in between. I don't mind it. why I have picked up and why EPCH has kind of zeroed down onto me, who is coming from ocean freight background, is because of the reason, as I mentioned, 95% of our India's EXIM business export volumes, 95% of the volume and 70% of the value actually goes by sea route, you know. So that shows how important we need to discuss about it, you know, more than any other mode of transportation. So 90% of the volume and 70% of the value is being moved through maritime routes. How many ports? We have around 12 major ports. There are more than that, but I am counting on 12 because they are really major. And they have been instrumental to touch this figure of 795 million tons, which we have handled previous year. And there has been a growth of little less than 11%. Some figures, you know, for you. Logistics industry is worth $250 billion. And by 225, not too far off, we are going to touch around $380 billion. So huge amount of money is involved. Logistic cost itself is so high, particularly in our country as compared to any developed nation like Germany or Japan or maybe Singapore. So what I want to emphasize on is why the logistic cost is so high, what we can do about it, what is the more awareness we should have, you know, so that we cut down onto our logistic cost. I keep on listening from the exporter wherever I had been roaming around here, and I went to a few stalls and I just checked up on the logistic if they have any query. They were saying, sir, I'm sorry I missed it, speak in Hindi in between. Hamari landing cost bahut zyada hai as compared to China and other countries, you know. So that makes us a bit of incompetitive in our business. So what is this landing cost? Why it is more? So let's talk about it. Like EPCH, there are around 37 councils which looks after around 10,000 commodities in India. There are 20 government agencies. So all this combines together and they are kind of trying to deliver. As far as the logistic cost is concerned, it is 13 to 14% of our GDP. You can imagine. And whom we are comparing to anybody like Germany or Japan. Their logistic cost in one digit. It is somewhere around less than 8%. So I think this session becomes more important if you want to compare yourself particularly with China, because I'm sure everybody is competing in all kind of commodities across. So what we can do about it? We are in double figures, you know, and the government has invested huge amount of money. There's a lot of think tanks who are really working it on day and night to bring from 14% to at least, you know, less than 10%. You know, it's a big, huge task. And sometimes, you know, the initiative goes anti-movement in the sense, I would like to share that 2 days back, Indian Railways has increased the railway freight by 10%, you know. So 10% means that they call it busy season surcharge. So I'm sure, you know, bodies like EPCH and everybody is going to work on it hard and raise to the government that, you know, why it has been increased. Of course, they will have their own reasons, but then, you know, that is a fact that logistic cost is 14 and it is further going up actually. The good news is not only a gloomy picture. We from 44 ranking in LPI, which is Logistic Performance Index, which is issued by World Bank, we have jumped by 6th position and we are today at 38th position. A long way to go, but then we are moving it fast now. And as I mentioned, you know, country like Singapore, being very tiny, is like #1, you know, in this index. How it is evaluated is it is based on the logistic performance of a country, you know. Not only the performance, a lot of other things also counts, like infrastructure, ease of doing business. Today, eco-friendly logistic solutions, you know, a green logistics, you know, we have to talk about it today, which has to reduce carbon footprints, you know. So these are the factors which actually drives, you know, to give scores to any country today, you know. So I think we have to go a long way. By 2030, I think we should be nearing to 20 numbers, you know, at the ranking of 20 or maybe 25. It's going to be reasonably good for us because we have to compare ourselves with China. because we have to compare apple to apple, and China is a bigger apple, but we are also in the similar category. So I would like to tell you that China is in 19th rank, and it is not from today. Many years they have been holding that position, and of course the volume is huge, multifold of what we are doing right now, total throughput of the country. In fact, it is not wrong to say one particular port of China, like Shanghai, throughput is maybe more than the total throughput of our nation, you know. So we have to really, we are forced to compare with China. Okay, I was talking about the share of handicraft. So I love to throw a figure here that in the year 21-22, we were around 33,253 crores. I see few people from the overseas, so if somebody can help them in converting it to dollars or maybe millions if not crores. So it's a huge number of handicraft, you know. So the increase has been little less than 30%, which means there's a huge scope, and that too immediately after COVID this thing has happened. So you can imagine how fast it is going to grow up, you know, furthermore. So I think you are in a very right business, right? So the growth is going to be tremendous because we have come out of that crisis of COVID, and I'm pretty much sure that, you know, the orders are going to be here, and in this whole today's seminar also, or the event which you're meeting a lot of buyers. I'm pretty much sure there's a lot of your order book should be full, you know, within no time. So that's a positive side of it. What is the share of handicraft if we talk about the countries? Of course, the US is number one. North America, we call it in our trade. So the USA holds around what? 42%. So it's a big, huge market. So whatever happens in US, it actually affects the whole of the world. Which means that if US had been going through a downtrend, so of course it will affect your business as well, even if you are not exporting to the US. So I had been engaged in a shipping company. We developed a sea route. I remember we had a transshipment at Colombo. There was no direct vessel which used to go from Indian baseport to a place like New York. But you are lucky today. I'm talking about 20 years back. Today you have a direct service, you know. I'm talking about shipping lines. I'm sorry, I'm not from the air freight background. So I'll be talking more about the sea freight. So there is a direct service which actually goes from western port of India, like Nhava Sheva, Mundra or Pipavav. And there is a transit time of around 20 days that your shipment reaches to New York, you know. So you have reached to an amazing time right now. We have seen that the service used to be via Singapore, which used to go to the west coast, and via Colombo, which used to go to the east coast. So we used to do multi-country consolidation at a place like Colombo. So what I want to tell you here is that you've got a fantastic shipping services available for you. The transit time is not erratic. It's a direct service, fixed day sailing. It's a weekly products, you know. So what I want to tell you is that you are in much better position as compared to yesteryears. Of course, you can see that you have other areas also. I do not want to kind of not name a place like UK. Of course, I used to work for an Anglo-Dutch shipping company called P&O Nedlloyd, and P&O was a separate entity altogether. Royal Nedlloyd is it was a Dutch shipping line based out of Netherlands. So in P&O Nedlloyd, I remember we used to carry huge amount of cargo to the UK. So UK has played a very important role in a place. I have seen myself, I used to travel to places like Muradabad, Kanpur, Jaipur, Jodhpur. Now I've seen handicraft actually had been coming up over years now. And thanks to these buyers who had taken all the pain, you know, I'm talking about 25 years back when they had to travel to a remotest place like Muradabad, which was not even rail linked as far as shipment is concerned, you know. There used to be an ICD at Muradabad, and by road the shipment used to move it to TKD or at Delhi, or it used to go to the port by road. So that was the most difficult time, but we have seen it. And today there is a situation that, you know, so many countries actually is buying it, you know, from India. So they are sourcing it, and Australia, Canada, you know, France, Germany, the whole of European countries play a very important role, you know, in raising this volume, you know, of handicraft. I do not want to be missing my industry numbers. I shared only handicraft. I am sharing you the total throughput of our industry. So 34% is only centered at the one port, Western port called, I'm sure everybody has used it, Nhava Sheva. So Nhava Sheva is actually holding a having a size of around 34% of the shipment with a value, you want to know, 3,65,000 crores. So that kind of a volume, only one port actually is handling. And of course you have a breakup, just for your academic records. Calcutta, Vizag, Mumbai, Sahar Air. I have tried covering the air freight also, which actually holds very, very less volume. But then if you talk about Delhi, it is 11%. So that's not a small volume actually. But we have also seen huge amount of shipment has been converting from air freight into sea freight. Why? Because again I am coming to that topic that sailing schedule also had been very consistent. The transit time has been lesser. There has been an improvement in the services of a shipping company. So huge amount of business actually shifted into sea freight, which actually had reduced your cost by 10%, 1/10 I would say. And you had been sending. Suppose you had to send one container load of 20 feet by air. You can imagine what kind of a air freight you are going to pay. But today I have made a table also that in 1 year's time there is a 90% reduction in ocean freight. So that is going to be the eye opener for you, that you paid through your nose during the COVID time, but today you have reached to a scenario where every shipping line is after your business and the cost is 90% lesser, ocean freight. So I have made a table for all major destinations where handicraft actually goes. Sorry, I'm being fast, maybe you have some question, you can just pick it up and ask. Who are the stakeholders? So I'll run it very, very fast for you. Stakeholder means the people whom you have been dealing, not only your buyers, I'm talking about your vendors also. And the vendors who are directly or indirectly you are dealing with. A CHA or a custom broker, freight forwarder and NVOCC is non-vessel operating common carriers. Shipping line of course. Transporter, surveyor, consolidator to handle your LCL loads, less than container load. The people, the custodian of the cargo means ICTs, CFSs, container freight station, multimodal logistic parks. I'm going to talk about that. Container train operator. There has been a scenario when only PSU, where I started my career with, it was Container Corporation of India Limited. For 2 decades they had a monopoly. I'm sorry I'm saying it like this, but that's a fact. I should not be shying away to tell that they had been in the business and they had a complete monopoly to run the trains. Today you have 17 private rail operator, private container train operator, CTOs, who has got license from Indian Railways to run the trains, private trains, on railway tracks which is operated by Indian Railways. So the power and the the brake van. So the brake van is operated by Indian Railways, but all the wagons in between are run by the private container train operator, which are Indian company as also the international companies like DP World, Adani, lot of others also, JM Bakshi. So they are running their trains, private trains from each port to the ICDs, all the hinterlands in India. So they have got a license to run these trains. We are going to talk a little bit about them. Customs authority, of course, you don't deal directly. You have your CHA who represents you in the eyes of customs. So, but you must know that what customs actually need from you. Of course, your most favorable party is your buyers. We want to talk about that. I am not only going to talk about any commercial part of it, but I am going to cover some kind of Incoterms which must go in shippers' favor, if not consignees. So the Incoterms becomes very, very important in our business. You must have a little understanding of it. You cannot be just blindly agreeing on the agreements with the buyers. You must understand what are these terms meant for. See, this entity, custom broker, has been taken very lightly by all of you, I would say, by the trade. but he plays a very, very important role in your supply chain, you know. And if you work very closely with them, you will understand what is this trade all about. And it may result into the cost reduction also. You must understand, custom broker is actually an entity who is qualified, you know. He has come up with what? Something called CBLR, Custom Broker License Regulation Exam, you know. It is being conducted by Indian Customs. Commissioner issues the license to the CHA. So this is the only party in our trade who is actually having an entry barrier, you know. Otherwise, everybody jumping into this, and the freight forwarder can become overnight, you know, a freight forwarder. They just open up, register themselves, and then have a bank account, and he's a freight forwarder. So there had not been any entry barriers, but today you have this party who engage with you on a daily basis. If not daily, alternate day, he speaks to you about your shipment. So I think you must know actually who is this, which is this company all about, what they do for you. As I mentioned, they represent you in customs. So all documentation with regards to the shipping bill, let export, everything is being handled by the CHA. So it is very important for you to understand him and to work very closely with him, you know. And he comes with the least cost. You are paying the least amount of money to CHA or custom broker than to anybody else. CTO, the rail operator, ocean freight, road transportation, everything is much above than what you pay to the CHA. But then, you know, he controls your shipment actually. He keeps you updated on all kind of a notification or all regulations. In fact, there is a situation I encountered that, you know, a CHA was not qualified enough to tell one of our exporter to use a container terminal which was not notified by custom for particular schemes, you know. You have a lot of schemes, right? All the exporters take that benefit of those schemes which has been facilitated by the government. But then your CHA must know, that's what you have hired him for, you know. So I remember some benefit was not passed on by custom just because of the reason that it was a wrong container terminal or an ICD or a CFS where he should not be handling handicraft as per se as a commodity. So I would like to a bit of emphasize you on this, that be very careful on choosing the right kind of a CHA. Now, I asked in one of the session, EPCH also conducts online program for export management. So there was a question by a very small, I would say startup company. There was a lady who was based out of Pune, and she had to send first shipment of handicraft. She was a very, very small exporter. It just came up, and she was asking me, what is the criteria of appointing a CHA? You know, it's such a tough question actually if you ask me. It is similar that how you appoint your chartered accountant, you know. So there is no laid down criteria to find out कि CHA कौन सा best होता है. But there is some yardstick like आपने सुना होगा AEO, किसी ने सुना होगा? AEO, Authorized Economic Operator. So custom issues this certificate. It's a voluntary practice, so it's a kind of a voluntary compliance. But if you have a CHA who has got a AEO, means that custom has given some kind of a recognition on the basis of his performance. Number one. So this is one kind of a yardstick. Number two, most important is your commodity. Each custom broker is very specific to commodity. Somebody is dealing for 20 years in automobile, so he knows inside out about auto parts to be custom cleared. But then there is certain CHA or a custom broker who handles handicraft, you know, for 20-30 years, you know, who are based out of Muradabad, and they have extended their office in Delhi, then Namasheva. So they've grown big actually. I've seen it by myself. Somebody originated from Muradabad and kept handling it, and their customer means you, an exporter has taken them all over India. What I want to say is that your custom broker must understand your commodity pretty well, the way you understand your commodity. He should also understand your commodity because he is representing you in the eyes of customs. So documentation I have very briefly touched upon. Shipping bill, he files shipping bill for you. Lot of EDI activities started taking place in Indian customs. Like we have got IceGate, शायद आपने सुना होगा, IceGate. So आपका CHA is not running around like in the previous time. He is operating from his office through EDI system. He is filing the documents for you. So there's something called e-filing. So he does that e-filing, and I don't want to talk about the agent and understand how he custom clears the good, but the end document is bill of lading, जिसके लिए आपने उसको hire किया होगा. So bill of lading is a negotiable document which comes at the end of your shipment when it is shipped on board, SOB. When actually it catches the ship and ship leaves the country, then this document is issued by the shipping line, and that's how your money comes from the bank. So this negotiable document is your custom broker who actually is engaged to get this final document for you. See, gone the time that there's a middleman, he's on a daily basis running. He has got a runner boy picking up a document from your office, going to customs, paying some money, and then greasing the pumps and getting the custom clearance done. But today, the CHA has to be your real advisor or a consultant. There are so many cases. I'm sorry to pick up this case. There could be rejection of shipment at destination. What do? It's not easy. We call it back to town shipment. जितनी कमाई होती है सब निकल जाती है उसमें. I am sure Mr. Rawat, you can tell a little bit about somebody who's faced it, who's got orders cancelled. Very, very grim situation. I remember you called up. So the situation was so difficult for an exporter, and what to do? So he runs to the CHA, but you must know that CHA is qualified to answer your queries on such cases like the order got cancelled, the shipment got delayed, there had been some accident, ship mein aag lag gayi, ship doob gaya. What do you do? These all things happen actually. I'm sorry to kind of address these issues this afternoon, but these are the cases where we have seen actually SOLAS coming in. What is SOLAS? Safety of life at sea. So SOLAS has become a mandatory practice, which is practiced by all shipping lines, and it comes from International Maritime Organization, IMO. So SOLAS is something which you cannot escape. You have to live with it actually. For that, your CHA must declare the right kind of a weight of your shipment to customs. We call it VGM, Verified Gross Mass. So why I'm just telling you very briefly is that it should just hit you in your brain that these are very important terms in shipping industry, and you should be very worried about it actually. Otherwise, it may result in heavy penalties also. So इसीलिए मैं ये सब बता रहा हूँ. He should also know something like DPE. किसी को मालूम है यहाँ पे DPE? Direct Port Entry. Direct Port Entry is a facility given by customs where you pick up a container, bring it to your factory, stuff it. Instead of sending it to ICD or CFS, send it to the port directly. It will save your cost and the transit time. Cost means what? 10 to 12,000 rupees per 40 fitter. So pay little attention. Your CHA should be knowing about it. So this is a facility. Import के लिए DPD है, Direct Port Delivery. Port से कंटेनर उठा लिया, CFS ICD में लेकर नहीं गए और सीधा फैक्ट्री में आ गया कंटेनर. It generally happens for a lightweight commodity, and yours is a lightweight commodity, no? एक 40 मीटर हाई क्यूब का वेट कितना होता है हैंडीक्राफ्ट का? Anybody can tell me please? Although I know it. What you guys deal in handicraft, no? I think it is like 10 tons, not more than that, 5 to 10 tons. So it's a lightweight commodity which is actually needed by all shipping lines, क्योंकि जितना lightweight होगा उतना जहाज ज़्यादा भरेगा, So yours is a lightweight commodity, and it's a excellent business for shipping companies. And you must know that you are sitting on a very valuable commodity, not only as a valuable for commodity, but for shipping industry or logistic industry also. Freight forwarder. Generally, I call them Olas and Ubers. Lot of Uberization is happening in our trade. Means we are expecting that you will be contacting us through a digital portal. कोविड के टाइम में आपने देखा होगा, shipping line salesperson were not available. Shipping line came up with the portals. On the portal they had given the freight rate. Freight rate to New York was $15,000, for a 40-footer high cube. Which means that कहते हैं ना, necessity is the mother of invention. Which means that जब कोविड का टाइम आया तो मजबूरी में हमें डिजिटाइजेशन में जाना पड़ गया, and then most of the activities started happening on a digital platform or e-commerce or online. So हमारी इंडस्ट्री भी अलग नहीं रही. We were part of this very much. How all the ocean freight forwarder also, in fact, new freight forwarder came up actually in the industry. Are you aware of any digital freight forwarder here? Please. Cargo port. So like that, they're Indian. Flexport also came up in the US, you know. I don't want to talk too much about that, otherwise I'm doing some advertisement for them free of cost, you know. So what I want to say is that ये अछूती नहीं है ये वाली इंडस्ट्री. इसमें भी digitization होती चलेगी and believe you me, huge amount of money has been spent. Yesterday I was sitting with one Dutch freight forwarder. He told me that he is getting the dividend of the investment he made in the COVID time. He brought a platform, a digital platform during COVID by engaging some IT professionals, you know. And today he says my 70% of business is happening on digital framework. So what I want to tell you is that आप भी ध्यान दीजिए. If you don't want to use it immediately, a digital platform, at least you start using them for reference point. Freight क्या चल रहा है? I think somebody said Cargo port. So they are not charging you to visit. आप जो hotel book कराते तो pay करते हो क्या? मतलब when you are booking a hotel room, till the time you have booked it, they are not going to charge you, no? So it's similar for these portals also. You go and do some reference check. What is the freight going on? I get a call after this session from the exporter, sir, आप जरा बताइए आजकल क्या freight चल रहा है न्यूयॉर्क का, मेरा freight forward था ये चल. अरे you go to that portals, you know. Don't use them. I'm sorry, I should not be saying that. But then at least check what is the freight going on. It's an excellent way. The way you check the hotel room or the airline freight fare. I'm sorry, we are in habit of saying freight. So you check and go there and check what kind of a fare is available. Who in Indigo का क्या चल रहा है after a month or so, what kind of, so similar thing is happening. I'm not saying time period के बाद कम होता जाता है freight rate, ऐसा नहीं है, but this digital platform exhibit that kind of a freight rates. They do everything, you know. As I mentioned, security filing is very important. It's not that you are not doing it, 100% you are doing it, but I'm just touching upon this. Something called ACD, Advanced Cargo Declaration for the US, you know it. अगर नहीं होगा तो डिपोर्ट हो जाएगा कंटेनर अगर वो वहाँ पे अमेरिकन पोर्ट में पहुँचा. If ACD is not done, which means the US customs virtually is giving a permission to enter into their country before your shipment is SOB, shipped on board. मतलब सेलिंग नहीं हुई है और कस्टम क्लियरेंस हो गया. So I don't want to enter to it because आधा घंटा उस पे लग जाएगा. I don't want to touch upon that topic. It's a very very important topic, but I'm just letting you know something called ENS is there. ENS is Entry Summary Declaration, which is there in all European countries. It is mandatory. You have to declare your goods. So either your forwarder or your CHA must know that, or a custom broker. So what I mean to tell you is that this security filing becomes a mandatory practice of your supply chain. There is a cost also involved. $25 लेते हैं शायद ACD filing के. So the cost also you have to pay. Can't help it. Of course, track and trace, everything, documentation, payment, freight payment, everything is digitized. You know, I use it on a daily basis. We collect from you. So on our digital platform, we use it. Freight forwarder are either nominated by your buyer or appointed by you locally. So both ways. So even if it is in the last session of EPCH, there was a lady who asked कि nomination में I had to pay very high charges. Of local origin charges has been very very high charged by the same freight forwarders, you know, like Cunanagar, DHL or Shankers or Expeditors. I'm sorry I'm naming them, but not in particular, but I'm telling you nomination may cost you more, you know, as far as local charges are concerned. So you should not be shocked about it, but of course you can raise it to your buyer that, you know, for my freehand shipment on a CIF term I was paying X amount, but I have been charged X plus Y. So these things you can always raise, right? Shipping lines, very very close topic for me. I spent around 17 years in shipping companies. It was American, Japanese, Korean, and today we handle the Chinese and Taiwanese shipping company. So I won't say that I have worked with all nationalities, but I have worked with all national flagship companies. So, as I've already kind of discussed about it, do not really want to go again and again in those things, but I would like to tell you that certain sector like USA, you have a service contract filed with the shipping companies, and you kind of get some reasonably competitive freight rates, ocean freight rate. Means you declare some kind of a minimum quantity commitment for 1 year and you'll end up getting a competitive freight rate. So that is happening in the shipping industry. So you must know, and of course everything is digitized in almost all the shipping lines. What almost? Every shipping line is digitized today, you know. Collecting payment, giving booking orders, you know, we call it delivery order or a booking note to you. So once you want to book a shipment with a shipping company, you have to go to a digital platform. You have to declare your goods before it actually is sent from your factory, you know. So everything is digital. I would just move forward. We call it either by a BCO or through freight forward. Shipping lines business has been shifting hands from basic cargo owner, which are you, exporters, to the hands of freight forwarders. So means you used to be negotiating freight rate from shipping line, but you have appointed a freight forwarder today and he negotiates on your behalf, and somebody pays you the benefit, somebody doesn't share that benefit with you. So you have to be very clever in understanding that what kind of freight rate is going on, so that you are not fooled by anybody. See this industry, अब आप बोलोगे कि एक साल में 90% freight rate कम कैसे हो गया? I'll show you this kind of a comparison chart, and this is eye opener. I need everybody. Although somebody had a heavy meal, but then you know I would request you to बड़ी मेहनत से मैंने ये वाली slide बनाई है. Just have a look at it, and then you know make a comparison yourself. देखिए, anybody suffered because of this? Can you just imagine? Pick up anything, pick up Europe. The freight rate in 2022 was around 5,600 for a 20 footer, 6,500 for a 40 footer. And today is what? कोई कर रहा है export? $500 and $600. So I have yet to see any industry with such a huge amount of kind of up and down. And I personally myself has witnessed this for the first time. In 1 year's time it has fallen by 91% or 80%. So anybody who has paid around the similar cost which I have shown in the first column.
During COVID everything was possible.
Okay, and where you were shipping it to?
UAE as well as to the US.
Both. And you had no choice but to pay, right?
No choice at all.
Because at that time you had this container shortage. Container was a rare commodity, you know, which was not visible to anybody. But today it is in surplus. So as I mentioned, surplus, supply demand. So our industry is basically governed through this supply demand. General rate increase, peak season surcharge also keep coming and being imposed to the trade, to the exporter. But there is a reason for that. If the volume goes very high and the supply is less, then of course the freight rate is going to go up, which has been happening actually. And today's scenario, what has happened? The freight rate has taken a bad beating. Why? Because you go to any ICD, it has become a container parking actually. You know, you see container everywhere today. I remember the government also intervened and say that container manufacturing शुरू कर देते हैं इंडिया में, so that you know we fulfill the requirement of the trade. But gone that day in 1 year time, you know, less than that. Today you are sitting and every shipping line want to do business with you. See, ये please ऐसा मत कर देना कि आप अभी नोट करके बोलो फोन करके यार तुमने ये फ्रेट लिखा था और अभी तो मिल गया. So I don't want to land up in that situation, but then this is something which we have charged as a shipping company. You know. Maybe today it has e-shipping company is independent to charge any freight rate. Even the local charges, railway freight is being charged differently by different shipping companies. You know that? In the sense that railway freight from Delhi to Nhava Sheva has to be one single amount. But one shipping line company, A company charges something and B company charges something else. So regulatory also comes in the picture, Mr. Rawat. So EPCH and the bodies like, you know, they have to really catch hold of the right people. Policy, regulation, you know, has to be, the voice has to be raised. You know, so that exporters should not be kind of penalized, you know, by this independent call. We call it local arbitraries. Arbitrary means anybody can charge anything. So this is happening actually. So again, coming back, any questions you have? Any question?
How to file complaint against arbitrage? What you are
Okay, so very tough question you have asked me. In fact, I am also wondering because I am the member of a logistic committee of FICCI. But then, you know, we land up only raising this thing, you know, to the government. I really do not know. Now, 2 days back, I don't know if you had heard me, you know, when I started. 10% railway freight, and railway freight for, mind you, railway freight which you pay from maybe Moradabad or from NCR region to Nhava Sheva is the highest in the world. This railway freight is the highest being charged by anybody globally, and railway fare is the cheapest in the world. That's why there is so much disparity, you know. So 10% being charged by railways under the head of busy season surcharge. बताओ आप क्या करोगे? Every forum, कहीं पे भी चले जाओ, whether it is a government official, a bureaucrat, or from your industry, everywhere it is being told logistic cost बहुत ज़्यादा है हमारी, 14% है, इसको कम कैसे करें? अरे कम कैसे करोगे? 80% of your total payout goes against railway freight. You know what is the freight rate of Singapore today? सिंगापुर का फ्रेट है $25 या $10 फॉर अ 20 फीटर. मलेशिया के लिए कंटेनर बुक है $1 पे, $1 फॉर अ 20 फीटर. सो व्हाट यू आर पेइंग इज यू आर पेइंग द रेलवे फ्रेट. सो सर ने बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन किया, जाए किसके पास? Everything is controlled with the government, so it has to be raised to the government only, you know, by the right people.
No, but that's not the only factor, isn't it? It's not just the railway, even the roadways also contribute to that.
You are completely right.
We are talking which is the highest in the world.
Sir, but railway is operated by one single entity. Transporter तो most unorganized sector है. आप 2 ट्रेलर लो, आप ट्रांसपोर्टर बन जाओगे और आप कुछ भी चार्ज कर लो.
Correct. So that is where even if the national logistics policy came into picture, they did not put anything onto this.
Yes, very unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
You're so right actually, sir.
And
I'm going to cover that also so that you carry something in your mind, you know, except for handicraft, that how supply chain is being affected of handicraft. So you're right. Let me come to that thing. We will have a more debate on this, you know. ये देखिए import का भी हाल वही है. Import is not neglected by the supply-demand situation. Look at it. Maximum comes from the Far East or Southeast Asia or China. आप देख लो, शंघाई ले लो, सबसे ज़्यादा import आता है वहाँ से हमारा. 40 to 76%. Mediterranean, Med sector, East Med or North Med, you know, the whole European sector, the import, there is a 84% reduction. So be very careful, you must know this actually. That is the purpose for me to bring this slide, you know, to your notice. Transporters also, as I mentioned, sir ne bola tha, road transportation. Now this is very unorganized and fragmented sector. इतने सारे player हैं इसमें, and very small time players. जिसके बाद 1 ट्रेलर है, 2 ट्रेलर है, 5 ट्रेलर है, वो भी ट्रांसपोर्टर बन जाता है. And he comes and asks you for business, you know, for transportation. So this has happening traditionally. But इसमें नई डेवलपमेंट क्या हुई है जो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि डिजिटाइजेशन इसमें भी हो गई है. I am very amazed by this company called Blackbug. I don't mind you know, naming them here. But these techies have done a fantastic job. They are not from our industry. They do not know about any commodity like handicraft, or they do not know where the. But they have brought the cost down by bringing this portal like Ola or you know, Uber or you know, any new, or Zomato, you know, like that. This thing also happened in transportation industry. They have developed something which is kind of a national trucking platform. They have brought in a digital mode. Means if you have a truckload from Kanpur and it has to go to Chennai, you can check here. So I'm not really recommending you to use, but I'm just making you aware that, you know, certain such portal has come up. So you cannot only go traditional way of asking a transporter. और मैंने तो ये देखा है ज्यादातर हैंडीक्राफ्ट एक्सपोर्टर है तो CHA के ऊपर ही छोड़ा हुआ है कि आप ही संभालो हमारी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन. He doesn't have any trailers, but then you know he catch hold of some उसका पुराना कोई दोस्त जिसका 2 ट्रेलर है, वो 2 लोग ट्रेलर बिजी है, वो फिर थर्ड पार्टी से एंगेज करता है. जितने मिडलमैन होंगे उतनी कॉस्ट बढ़ती जाएगी ना. So what I want to tell you is that take the charge of your shipment in your hand. That is something in a nutshell I want to tell you, that do not, of course you can use them, you know, for your movement of goods, but then have it checked, have a reference check done, you know. ये भी एक पोर्टल है, चले जाओ वहाँ पे. मुरादाबाद से 40 मीटर 20 मीटर का आज का रेट क्या चल रहा है वो आपको नावा शेवा मुंद्रा पिपावा का बता देगा. Similarly backward. So I should not be naming, but still I have taken few names because so that you should know that you know such people also exist, and there are more people joining the band. देखिए सर्वेयर का आपका कोई डायरेक्ट नहीं है, इसीलिए मैंने इनडायरेक्ट वेंडर भी लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. इनडायरेक्ट वेंडर क्या होता है? रास्ते में एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कस्टम क्लियर्ड, इट इज अ कस्टम बॉन्डेड मूवमेंट विच इज हैपनिंग, कस्टम सील लगी हुई है कंटेनर में, ऑन द वे एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है. Then joint survey is carried out by this surveyor. That's why he becomes important, you know. He makes a survey report which is an international legal document. So my request is, you must also know, I'm not going to go in detail. Of course he makes tally sheet, stuffing report and everything, which is a legal document. If anything happen, the court of law is going to check all these documents. So you must know who is the surveyor, you know. Right? कंसोलिडेटर. कितने लोग LCL शिपमेंट करते हैं? You can raise your hand maybe. LCL shipments less than container load, right? Which place ma'am? नहीं, कहाँ करते हैं एक्सपोर्ट? US. So Europe. So LCL has become very very important, which is spillover we call it in our industry. Spillover cargo. जो less than container load है, full container load नहीं है. So big player has come in the business, you know. Don't want to really go in detail, but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is negotiable. सबका एक रेट है जो आप negotiate कर सकते हो. LCL shipment में huge amount of negotiation takes place. Can you just imagine? मैम शायद आपको पता होगा negative freight भी होता है LCL में.
मैंने तो negotiate करना है try.
हाँ. Never worked, is it? So you tried it with a consolidator or a freight forwarder, if you can share. Freight forwarder, I think. Or maybe CHA. Maybe CHA जो custom broker है उसी से.
हाँ, that's what.
तो मैम क्या होता है? If you land up to the right guy, means a consolidator who is really consolidating the goods. यहाँ पर ये कहाँ पर stuffing होती है? दिल्ली में या नवशेवा? मुरादाबाद में ही कंसोल होता है. So there are consolidators who console the cargo, which means you can deal with them without involving any middleman in between, and they will welcome you. They will welcome you actually on that, and they will offer you rate which is rock bottom. I was myself leading a company. I was in a strategic position. We were number 1 in LCL. It's called EQ Worldwide.
How do you find these guys? Consolidated.
Yeah.
How to find? Well, it is not as difficult as CHA. A consolidator are very few in numbers. Means that you don't go to the ICD. Suppose, let me tell you one thing. The freight rate at Nhava Sheva is going to be cheaper than at Muradabad, because cargo inducement Nhava Sheva में बहुत ज़्यादा है. The frequency of New York container is almost daily basis. एक दिन में 440 हाई क्यों भर देते हैं कंसोल के less than container load. मुरादाबाद में हफ्ते में एक होता है. मैं आपको बताता हूँ. You go to ICD. हाँ जी सर, आप ICD चले जाइए, वहाँ पे कस्टम से लिस्ट निकला लो कंसोलिडेटेड कौन कौन है, बस. And even the custodian of the cargo, which is Container Corporation or that ICD, is also having list of consolidators, because they have given a reserve shed space to them. वो rent लेते हैं उनसे consolidated. So they have taken a reserve shed space at the CFS and ICDs, right? So it's very easy for you to find it out. बट मैं आपको ये सजेस्ट करता हूँ, मैं मिस्टर रावत के साथ में काम कर रहा था टू कट द कॉस्ट, लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट ऑन LCL. So we land up also advising to the trade that do not forget to send the goods by road. There are a lot of road transporter who are dedicatedly working for less than container load. Milk run होता है उनका, एक गाड़ी निकलती है पूरा स्क्वायर का एक चक्कर लगाकर आती है and they pick up cargo from everywhere. That's called Best Roadways is one of them. Again, I'm not recommending anybody here, please. In fact, sometimes they become my competitors, so I should not be naming them. But I'm just letting you know the cost can be brought down by using this transporter who are dedicated for LCL. आपको उसके पास जाना है जो वही काम कर रहा है ना, आपको उसके पास नहीं जाना जो मल्टी एक्टिविटी कर रहा है. और CHA is doing custom clearance, you are negotiating freight rate, आप ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की भी बात कर रहे हो उससे. Don't do that, please. Of course, with all due respect to them, if somebody, a CHA has grown very big in size and they have become a big company and they have separate divisions like transportation, custom clearance, freight forwarding, and they are doing a good job for you, I don't mind, of course, I'll recommend you to go to them. But then very rare of them has grown to that size, Freight forwarding में आपको बताना चाहता हूँ, freight forwarding में shipping line से ज़्यादा बड़ी companies हैं. Companies like DB Shankers, Kuehne+Nagel, and DHL, these German players are far bigger than people like Hapag-Lloyd and all, the shipping companies. Which means that freight forwarding is a state of art. In the sense that over the period of time they have reached to this level, they have that strong SOPs where they actually not only delivers to the small shipper over here, but they handle for Walmart, Target Store, Williams-Sonoma, Bombay Company, all big names like Tesco, or IKEA. So all these giants have appointed a freight forwarder, right? Because अगर आपने shipment Target Store की करी होगी, तो Target Store तो आपको phone नहीं करेगा ना shipment कहाँ है. These freight forwarders, they have hired the global forwarders, like expediters, particularly USA के लिए, and these people are identified countrywide also. Like one freight forwarder is very strong in the US, दूसरा वाला Germany में बहुत strong है, तीसरा वाला France में बड़ा strong है, right? So it's work like that actually. मैं तो हर बार यही बोलता हूँ LCL के लिए कि आप मास्टर बिल ऑफ लेडिंग जो होती है तो वो कंसोलिडेटर से डायरेक्टली लो, so that you know what is the freight rate being charged by them. क्योंकि क्या होता है, आपकी इनवॉइस रेज करता है आपका CHA या फ्रेट फॉरवर्डर, आपको पता ही नहीं होता एक्चुअल फ्रेट क्या गया था, राइट? So you must get the bill of lading directly issued from the consolidator or LCL. मैं बहुत फास्ट कर रहा हूँ. This really needs more attention, but I'm trying to jump or gallop. देखो, these all CFSs are actually custom bounded facility. As far as I have to tell you, this is a custom bounded facility where domestic cargo cannot enter. So only the goods which has to be exported or imported must be handled in the CFS. This is a custom bounded facility. It is all fenced. You have custom people sit in these CFSs and do custom clearance, right? I must tell you, ये ICD operator also become global, हाँ? आपने देखा होगा आजकल तो ICC को भी वो sponsor कर रहे हैं. The World Cup, Cricket World Cup is being sponsored by DP World, and DP World is running ICDs in North India. कहाँ पर है उसकी ICD? पानीपत में है, I remember. And then of course they have plenty of them, but DP World is one company who have been instrumental in developing our ports, जो बड़े traditional थे और बहुत ही उसमें problems थी, efficiency थी नहीं उसमें. So these companies, like I used to work for P&O Port was one company, DP World is another company. Now these people have come into ICDs also, and what benefit you are going to have it, that they will bring the international technology in ICDs also. जो मुरादाबाद में ICD है, वो तो Concor ही run करता है ना काफी सालों से. तो उसमें भी changes आप देखोगे. Even Container Corporation is worried about service. They want to give you visibility. I'll come to that. In fact, I would request one person to at least take out a container number जो अभी recently कोई stuff करा किसी ने. I will try to take a live case. आप बेशक कॉल कर सकते हैं अपने ऑफिस में. Take one container number and we will have a live kind of a visibility of a container tracking. So I would like to touch upon that topic also. Of course, I'm not going to go in fumigation. It's a necessity activity which is mandatory, which has to be palletization, all those things. I don't want to talk. You know it actually, but I think you know it through maybe a custom broker or a freight forwarder. Primarily custom broker, you depend on more. So my request is, go to you have around 19 operator licensed by Indian Railways to run the private train on railway tracks operated by the Indian Ministry of Railways, Indian Railways. And they're very big in size. They almost have around 50 trains today. One train we also call it rake. It consists of 45 wagons. So 45 wagons जब एक पूरा बन जाता है 40 footer, then the green signal is given for the train to run. Yes, Indian Customs, as I mentioned, that you have to be very careful while declaring weight of your shipment, because अगर आप misdeclare करोगे problem हो जाएगी. There will be a penalty, there is going to be a delay. So once the shipment goes to any of a container terminal or a port, it is being weighed at a weighment bridge. Weighment bridge होता है वो जो आप जानते होंगे, वो धर्म कांटा बोलते हैं उसको, जो रोड साइड में होता है, but that is calibrated by DGFT. You know DGFT, no? Director General of Foreign Trade. So they calibrate and approve these weighment bridges inside the terminal who weighs your shipment and issues something called VGM, Verified Gross Mass. जब ये मिलता है तभी कस्टम इंस्पेक्टर उसको ग्रीन सिग्नल देता है कि लेट एक्सपोर्ट हो गया, now it is ready to be shipped. So don't just remember this कि आपने पेमेंट कर लिया और आपका जो वेइंग स्केल है वो खराब था, तो आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया और कुछ नहीं होगा. Your goods are going to be weighed again and again. Either be port में भी, port of loading में भी, port of discharge में भी. At the port of discharge, which means at the destination also it could be weighed again. And if there is any discrepancy, it will be deported at your cost. So मैं जानबूझ के आपने डरा नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ बता रहा हूँ कि ये हो सकता है actually, So be very careful while you send your goods to any of a container terminal or a port for shipment, You see, as I mentioned about authorized economic operator, इसकी तीन कैटेगरी होती है, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Means if he is highly qualified in the sense that compliance is 100% हो रही है, then he reaches to tier 3. So lot of exporters, particularly manufacturers, international, global and domestic both, which means that somebody like LG or Samsung in India, or somebody like maybe Bata or Tata Group, as such appoint a CHR of freight forwarder on the basis of AEO. And this AEO is not only a terminology in India, it's a global terminology, So this is being recognized even by the buyers also. So authorized economic operator is something which you should check while using your vendors, I'm being very fast. Although I'm not getting any signal from you, ma'am, but I'm trying to be fast. Am I like? Okay. So who are your buyers? You must understand, your buyer could be a retailer, isn't it? Like Walmart. Anybody is doing to Walmart or Target stores? Anybody here? No. Alright. Cost Plus or somebody like them. So they also become your buyers, wholesalers, manufacturers, OEM products, Your product goes as a OEM to somebody who also manufacture and utilize this as a raw material in making a finished goods. And online e-commerce player, of course, you cannot discount them, Amazon का भी export हो रहा है, we carry their goods. It can be picked up by anybody in the US from any part of India. And logistics become very important and tricky also sometimes, very critical. Suppose it is at a remotest area, product is lying and somebody ordered in San Francisco, then how it has to be carried is something we have to work it out, So online buyer also has come in, like as I mentioned, Amazon. And if you talk about Amazon, you go to Chicago and you will find out what kind of a sourcing is being done globally. There's a huge tons of cargo actually. In fact, Chicago as a state is chosen by Walmart in the global bidding. Why? Because they have got the maximum space available to carry the goods. इतना सारा import आता है वहाँ पे. So I'm just making you aware that this is going on. You should be aligned yourself. You should be aligning yourself. अच्छा, Incoterms की बात करता हूँ मैं. एक ही pick करूँगा. There are 11 Incoterms, but I'm going to only pick up one. And I'm not trying to scare you or something, but you must understand why I'm picking up this. So I'll move on to the next slide. So these are the 11 Incoterms. I'm going to talk about what is written at the end of it. एक Incoterms होती थी delivered at terminal. Terminal is still acceptable कि आप एक terminal की बात कर रहे हो. Suppose again San Francisco और न्यूयॉर्क में एक टर्मिनल है, पोर्ट एलिजाबेथ है जहाँ पर पोर्ट ऑफ डिस्चार्ज है, वहाँ पर एक टर्मिनल है और टर्मिनल में आपको डिलीवरी देनी है एज एन एक्सपोर्टर. यू हैव एग्रीड टू दिस Incoterms. You are liable to deliver the goods at this terminal in the US at that particular port. But वो क्या convert हो गया? The change has taken place in Incoterm 2020 structure is that DAT has been replaced by something called DPU, delivered at place unloaded, or DAP, delivered at place. Anybody has encountered that Incoterms? DAP? Nobody. DAP क्या होता है? I'll tell you what is the response, and this is happening. A lot of buyers are maybe arm twisting the exporter कि they want this Incoterms. So think 10 times before agreeing into this Incoterms. What is it? Delivered at place means आपके बायर ने बोला मेरे को लंदन के पास और पेरिस के उधर में एक जगह वेयरहाउस है, मेरे को वहाँ चाहिए. You don't even know, you have never visited that place and you are catching hold of a freight forwarder or shipping line and trying to take the freight rate. You are liable to deliver the goods, the shipper, at the premises almost of the buyer without knowing the complete multimodal activity which is going to take place. Rail, road, then again the mirror image, rail, road to the destination. So, which means except for unloading at the buyer's premises or a buyer designated place, you are liable, you have agreed to this Incoterms that you are taking full responsibility of placing your goods to the buyer declared place. उससे भी worst हो गया. And I am amazed that few of the seller has agreed to that Incoterm. What is that? Delivered at place unloaded. मतलब आपने unloading की भी responsibility अपने सिर पे ले ली. You don't even know कि कौन सी क्रेन लगेगी, कौन सी लेबर होगी वहाँ पे, कुछ अगर मिसहैप हो गया तो पूरी जिम्मेवारी आपकी आ जाएगी. कोई स्ट्राइक हो गई, कोई लेबर स्ट्राइक हो गई, कुछ हो गया, कोई एक्सीडेंट हो गया. So I'm not trying to scare, but it is existing. A lot of business is happening in this Incoterm also. But be very careful because you are fully responsible. पहले ट्रक का मुंह उधर था, अब इधर हो गया. Means you have taken the responsibility of unloading the goods also at the buyer's declared place. Let's move fast. DFC क्या है? Very important for you. देखिए मैं शॉर्ट में बताता हूँ. I'll take a map of this. You see, from Punjab there is a place called Sahnewal in Ludhiana. So there are one track which is coming toward a place called Khurja. Khurja से दो पेरीफेरी बन रही है. ये वेस्टर्न TFC है, वेस्टर्न पेरीफेरी, और ये ईस्टर्न पेरीफेरी. ईस्टर्न पेरीफेरी ईस्ट इंडिया में जा रही है, वेस्टर्न पेरीफेरी वेस्ट इंडिया में जा रही है. Which means it is going to connect from Ludhiana till about JNPT, and from here Dankani in West Bengal. Now why it is important? It is going to be a dedicated freight corridor जिसमें पैसेंजर ट्रेन नहीं चलेंगी. अभी तो दोनों ही चलती है एक ही ट्रैक में. This corridor is developed by in collaboration with Japanese government, and huge amount of very big project has been invested to run only freight trains. ये जो मैं बोल रहा था ना, कॉस्ट बढ़ जाती है, रेगुलेटरी नहीं है. This is going to be the answer in my eyes through my experience. जब कैपेसिटी बिल्डअप होगी, रोलिंग स्टॉक आएगा, तो कॉस्ट जो है वो रुकेगी या कम होगी. Two things. One is dedicated freight corridor आ रहा है, जिसमें freight trains चलेंगी. इलेक्ट्रीफाइड ट्रैक होगा वो. अभी कई जगह मुंद्रा पोर्ट के लिए डीजल ट्रैक में चलती है ट्रेन. Now it is going to be electrified and it is going to be double stacked. There is going to be a double stack train, which means 45 wagons मैंने बोले थे, which means 90 40-footer या 180 TEUs are going to be loaded on one train. But DFC आने के बाद double stack हो जाएगी. The capacity is going to be doubled actually. So in one train 360 TEUs is going to go, and that is going to be electrified track. So this big development is going on. 80% of the infrastructure is ready. You know, under DFC 80% is already ready actually. You see, here I have shown. So what is the cost? 1,24 crores, 1.24 lakh crores, sorry. So huge investment has gone in this. This is going to be easing off the cost of hinterland and to make it seamless. Capacity building, you know. So this was much required to improve on our first slide, LPI, which means Logistic Performance Index में we have to jump to a 20th position. वो इसी वजह से होने वाला है, otherwise कोई और reason नहीं है. You see, from Dadri, double stack has already taken place. So you can see things are happening on the ground now. ये सिर्फ मीडिया में नहीं आ रहा कि इतने लाख करोड़ों का प्रोजेक्ट है. You can see something moving now, you know, and I'm so glad about it actually. So 20th April of this year, we flagged off first double stack train from ICD Dadri to Mundra Port. So you can see here, this is double stack, right? So instead of carrying only 180 TEUs, one train is going to carry 360 TEUs, and it is going to be electrified, which means the speed has to be very fast. I think 48 hours, it is still taking 48 hours to reach to Nhava Sheva, which is very good actually. Second development, under this project there is something called Gati Shakti Cargo Terminal, which has been coming up. First has already come at Rewari. This is multimodal logistic park, which is going to ease off the load of containers traffic in India. So what is happening is, ये जो DFC corridor मैंने दिखाया था, इसके यहाँ पर almost 100 stations आ रहे हैं, railway stations. So these stations are going to be converted into Gati Shakti Cargo Terminals, you know, which is going to give a multimodal transportation solutions to your business. All right. So this also has happened. Again, in the month of April has been very important for us. National Logistic Policy, sir, somebody else wanted to know more about it. So ये क्या है? See, they are trying to, number one, the double-digit logistic cost has to brought into a single digit. That is the aim of our Prime Minister also. So they have laid down a policy where they are bringing all the fraternity, all under this domain of warehousing provider, shipping expert, transporter, government agencies. 6 ministry is being roped into one, and under this policy everybody is working in a unified platform. I'll show you something here. So the policy will be supported by Prime Minister Gati Shakti National Master Plan. Very important for you to have a brief of it actually, just understand a very fraction of it, I would say. What is this? Gati Shakti Yojana has got a project worth of 100 lakh crores for the developing a holistic infrastructure, जैसे कि DFC बताया है, Gati Shakti container terminals. So look at the investment which is going to take place. Why? Because this economy is going to be touching nearly $400 billion, you know. That's why. So 101 projects are going to take a final shape, worth of 6,872 crores for implementation. Now this, two things I want to touch upon at the end of it. As I mentioned, 6 ministries are going to be joining the hands. One is Railways, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, Customs and DGFT. इन्होंने एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया जिसका नाम रखा है यूलिप, Unified Logistic Interface Platform. You must know, and you as an exporter can very well register yourself into this portal, and you will start looking at the benefit which you are going to get in the long term. And also I'm going to, this is going to be the second last is yet to come now, ma'am. A little relief for you, I am reaching is the last slide. So LDB, Logistic Data Bank, is something which has come up. I would request one of the individual to be ready with a container number, a live case of a container number we are going to track. So this is called ULIP. What is ULIP? Unified Logistics Interface Platform. The name itself states that people are joining hand, who are working in silos are trying to come together. So these are the people. और इनके पास क्या है? इनके पास फ्रेट ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है, रेलवेज के पास, कस्टम के पास आइस गेट है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी के बाद डिजी लॉकर है, आपने देखा ही होगा एयरपोर्ट में भी शुरू हो गया है. डिजी लॉकर क्यों इसमें चाहिए होगा? टू आइडेंटिफाई डॉक्यूमेंट्स. So little bit robotics is going to take place here. I think they will capture the data of documents like shipping bill, all those things, and can transform into data. So ये क्लब होकर ये सारी चीजें क्या बना रही है? ULIP. It's a virtual gateway. Storage of transactional data. Transactional already हो रही है आपकी शिपमेंट की. आपका नाम कैप्चर हो जाएगा, आपने 2 साल में या आप कब से एक्सपोर्टर हो वो आ जाएगा, आपने इस साल में कितनी शिपमेंट करी है वो आ जाएंगी, किसी ने मिस डिक्लेयर नहीं किया वो आ जाएगा, लाइक योर ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, यू नो. सो इट विल गोइंग टू शो एवरीथिंग एंड इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बेनिफिट द गवर्नमेंट. द रियल बेनिफिट इज टू द इंडस्ट्री, लाइक एंटरप्रेन्योर, people like you here, you. So you are going to be data user. So it is going to be speaking to your system in the sense you send a request and you will get a reply. Alright? So there is a common platform also, a logistic portal has already been there, you know. National Logistic Portal has already come up actually. Here you can see the application track and trace is something which is used by every one of you. So you can see even LCL, ma'am. LCL is also going to be a part of it. You just key in the container number, you will get it. ये स्टेक होल्डर्स में सबसे ज्यादा फायदा होगा शिपर एंड कंसाइनी. कौन सा? रियल टाइम इन्वेंट्री. आपको पता चलेगा कि आपकी शिपमेंट एग्जैक्टली कहां पर है, सो दैट यू पे अटेंशन टू योर नेक्स्ट शिपमेंट, यू नो, वेदर इट इज गोइंग टू कनेक्ट द वेसल या रेलिंग हो गई उसकी, कस्टम क्लियरेंस हो गई, ऑल दैट डेटा इज गोइंग टू बी शोन इन अ सिंगल पोर्टल, सिंगल विंडो. Of course, it will help you to identify logistic service provider also. वो नहीं चलेगा कि जो 20 साल से आपका एक ब्रोकर ही काम करे जा रहा है. You have a access or a visibility for other player also to check कि दूसरे लोग क्या कर रहे हैं. Can they bring a value addition to your business? Can they bring the cost efficiency in your business? So these are the things which are going to be checked here. So I would request somebody to give me a container number, because we are going to check something called logistic data bank system. इंडिया में जितने कंटेनर मार्क माय वर्ड, एम्प्टी, लोडेड, इंपोर्ट, एक्सपोर्ट, वेसल डिस्चार्ज, वेसल लोडिंग, ट्रेन डिस्चार्ज, लाइंग एट ICD, 100% is being captured by Indian government. And through this portal you can check कि वो आज की रियल टाइम में कहां पड़ा हुआ है. You're not going to the shipping line website or a freight forwarder के ऑफिस में जाकर आप पूछ रहे हो. Sit in your office and just check through your console, through your computer, that you know what is the status of the shipment. So can I have somebody's one container number please? मैडम आपने ऐसी शिपमेंट करी होगी, कोई है?
सर मैं 2 साल से नहीं देखी.
Okay. Anybody? It means you are finding my session to be very boring, you know. You are not even providing one single container number to me. Anyways. Okay. I'll show you what it shows. कोई नहीं है इसमें. अच्छा. Last one. Where is that? Link होगा. So I want to show you the